Well, the mass voter registration exercise came to a close today, just over a month since the exercise began. Continuous voter listing will, however, continue at the constituency level until May the 7th. Political leaders who have been campaigning to get their supporters to register took their campaigns to different parts of the country.
All the two politicians from Baringo County, hundreds of residents turned up in their numbers to express their anger over the killing. The residents, including their leaders, poured onto the streets of Chemolingot, the home of the two politicians, to condemn the killings.
It has become a trend in Marigat. So we have given them 2 days. If after those 2 days, nothing is done or nothing is being seen to be done, we shall come back as a people and decide on the next course of action. Because we cannot allow our people to be killed like dogs.
I think everybody knew that there were tensions in Marigat. I think that was, and I don't know why the police did not take it up. But I think moving forward, we have to coexist to live together in this county.
Na mimi ningeomba tu watu wa upande wa Baringo waone hiki kitu kwa in a broader lens. Wasione this will be the issue and itakuwa hivyo. And Marigat is a town that Pokota wanachenga pia kiuchumi.
Tunapatia wewe na timu yako ya security. Tunakupatia siku ngapi? Siku mbili.
And while they held demos at Chemolingot, colleagues of Charity Kibet visited the scene of the killing 65 kilometers away.
Insecurity or criminals do not come from any community. Criminals are criminals. And those people who are carrying illegal firearms are criminals. They don't come from a community. They need to be apprehended. They need to be disarmed.
If we continue before the culprits are brought to book, I think we will have a lot of anxiety in the communities.
A day after the murder of the two politicians here in Marigat, the entire saga seems to be taking a new twist, with it boiling down into a community versus community issue. First, due to the communities of the two deceased politicians, and secondly, due to the location where the murder took place. The motive of the killing is yet to be known, as police have not arrested any suspect. Victor Ogale, KTN News, Baringo County.
Apologies for the technical mix-up there. Of course, that was a story by Victor Ogale of the two politicians who lost their lives in the county of Baringo. The latest updates from there. Now, the mass voter listing exercise came to a close today, just over a month since the exercise began. Continuous voter register will, however, continue at the constituency level until the 7th day of May. Political leaders who have been campaigning to get their supporters to register as voters took their campaigns to different parts of the country.
After the extension of the mass voter registration exercise twice, the last day of the exercise saw a low turnout, at least in the areas we visited. At the St. George's Registration Center in Kapsaret constituency, Uasin Gishu County, only a few people turned up to register. At the Sacred Heart High School in Mombasa, the situation was no different, and neither was it at the Huduma Center in Meru. The month-long registration exercise lapsed on Tuesday last week before it was extended by the court. The 30 days saw the IEBC register 3.5 million new voters, short of its target of 6 million. The exercise came to a close as political temperatures continued to rise ahead of the August polls. CORD leader Raila Odinga addressed several rallies in Turkana County as CORD core principal Moses Wetangula campaigned in Bungoma.
Walisema vijana watapata kazi. Mmepata kazi vijana? Akina mama je? Walisema gharama ya maisha itapunguka. Imepunguka hapo Kenya?
Na tutatembea tukijua ya kwamba nyumba yetu ni Ford Kenya. iliyoanzishwa na Masinde Muliro.
Deputy President William Ruto attended a church service at the Christ is the Answer Ministries in Nairobi.
Pray so that we can have peaceful elections going into the future, and that in this election, the will of no man will succeed, but the will of God.
In Garissa, leader of majority in the National Assembly, Aden Duale, defended the move by Jubilee, seeking to have the IEBC conduct party primaries.
Jubilee wants to give the certificate through a free, fair nomination conducted by IEBC.
According to a timeline by the IEBC, parties are meant to begin the process of submitting their nomination rolls on Monday. Rita Tinina, KTN News.
The ruling Jubilee regime has renewed calls to clip judicial powers, accusing the courts of bias in recent decisions relating to the 2017 elections. This debate comes even as the High Court resumes hearing of two cases this week, which are critical to the August 8th polls. Tonight, our Muremi Mwangiri visits some recent court decisions relating to the 2017 elections and interrogates why the courts are yet again on the receiving end from the political class.
In what was arguably the deadliest blow yet to the country's electoral body, IEBC, High Court Judge George Odunga on Monday quashed the award of a 2017 elections ballot paper printing tender, citing irregularities in the tendering process, a ruling that has ignited mixed reactions within political and judicial circles.
If we go with the same rate that we have in this country, these judges will be appointing the president. These judges will be appointing the archbishops of churches.
At times, the judgments will not please some people. At times, others are pleased. So where there is any grievances raised, we will deal with it in appeal.
But the spotlight has still been locked at the Constitutional Division of the High Court. On Thursday, Justice Odunga disqualified himself from hearing a case in which the Kenyan opposition is challenging IEBC's award of a tender for the review of the voters' register to KPMG audit firm.
I hereby direct that this matter will be placed before the presiding judge of the Constitutional and Human Rights Division, that is the Honorable Mr. Justice Chacha Mwita, for further orders with respect to the hearing and disposal of this matter.
Odunga's recusal followed an application in which the IEBC raised fears that the judge might be biased in the case, following his Monday ruling on the ballot paper tender.
Now, what is
Justice Chacha Mwita, also of the High Court, has separately ordered the extension of the mass voter registration by a total of 4 days, pending the hearing of a case in which activist Okia Omtata wants the exercise to go on until exactly 60 days to the polls. And now, the ongoing 2017 polls-related court cases have ignited a scheme within the ruling Jubilee regime to clip judicial powers through a referendum.
We are going to win these elections. There is no way we are not going to win the elections. And the first thing that we are going to do, we are going to carry out a referendum. And the first referendum is to check on the powers of the judiciary. Because there is no way we shall allow judiciary to twist other arms of government.
Courts are engaged in the dispute resolution process, nothing more. Courts have not gone to the streets to protest or to join a political party or a political movement. They have sat back in an adversarial nature manner to say and waited. Whoever brings a dispute before them, they listen to him.
By Parliament to follow procedure. But while the opposition insists that the ongoing court cases are informed by the need to have credible 2017 elections, their Jubilee counterparts claim the court battles could cripple IEBC's preparations for the 2017 polls, allegations that court leaders have vehemently denied.
It is very important at this time when we are trying to develop our democracy that the courts play its important role to ensure that institutions do not violate the Constitution.
Executive roles cannot be curtailed by the judiciary. Neither can judiciary, become a squatter in the periphery of the legislature.
With tight timelines to the August polls, the multiple court cases might be a headache to the IEBC, but it's also a defining moment for the Kenyan judiciary on the role of the courts to enforce free, fair, and credible electoral processes. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News in Nairobi.
Muremi Mwangi for us tonight. Thank you. Now, Deputy Speaker in the 11th National Assembly, Dr. Joyce Laboso, will go down the books of history as Kenya's first female Deputy Speaker. The Sotik Member of Parliament, who has served for 2 terms, has now decided to seek a bigger elective seat, that of Governor of Bomet, in the August 8th elections. In tonight's edition of Spotlight 2017, our senior political affairs reporter Chris Dairo caught up with her in her Sotik home, where she shared her experience, challenges, and political ambitions.
On a normal Saturday morning, we visit the rural home of Sotik Member of Parliament, Dr. Joyce Laboso, in Bomet County, who also doubles up as the Deputy Speaker in the National Assembly. And already a good number of her constituents have visited her with all manner of problems. And one by one, she listens to them with a promise that she will tackle their issues.
They normally come a lot, You'll find on average 200 to 300 people will be here on a Saturday morning. So, when I'm around, of course you can, the thing is, even that, providing that listening here, not that you are going to solve their problems, because nobody can really solve everybody's problem, but just providing that listening here, giving some advice here and there, just makes them feel that they are there, and you also feel that you are connecting with them as well.
As of that opinion, say aye.
When she's not in her constituency, Dr. Joyce Laboso is busy moderating parliamentary sessions as the Deputy Speaker. Being the first woman Deputy Speaker in the country, Dr. Laboso acknowledges that her job has its fair share of challenges. According to her, one of her lowest moments as the Deputy Speaker was on the 20th December 2014, when members of the National Assembly turned violent during the debate on the controversial security laws. While jubilant opposition legislators engaged in fistfights, Homa Bay Women Representative Gladys Wanga did the unimaginable and poured water on her.
I've had some very sticky moments. Remember the security bill and the drama that ensued, including me being poured water on. That was one of the lowest times in Parliament. But I guess even that was, in the end, I said, okay, that is all in the line of duty, because she was not pouring water on me as Joyce. It was because of my role as, as a speaker at that time.
And did they later mend fences?
She herself is the one that kept coming, apologizing. It was not personal. It was all and I was she kept giving some excuses. But in the end, really, it is. I look at it as some of the hazards that happen in the line of duty. I mean, I was just there, playing my role as an arbiter.
Dr. Laboso was first elected into Parliament through a by-election in 2008 after her younger sister, Lona Laboso, perished in an air crash in Narok County, which also killed the late Roads Minister, Kipkalia Kones. After serving the Sotik constituents for 2 terms, Laboso has now decided to seek a more powerful elective seat. Come August the 8th general election, Laboso will be seeking to unseat Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto.
I'm not looking to be a cultural leader. I have not said I want to be, I don't know, some traditional leader of. No, I want to be the governor, which is about talking about how do you make sure that the resources that are brought to Bomet, or even the vision that you want for Bomet, which is a vision around development.
However, her rivals have decided to bank on the fact that she's married outside the Rift Valley region to campaign against her. But does it worry her?
This fact that I am married to somebody from outside the constituency or outside the community has been what they have decided. They will hammer on it and hammer on it and hammer on it. But the question is, that should have been a point that was hammered on 10 years ago. not now. 10 years ago, it would have made sense. You would have said, no, you are a stranger. We cannot have you being a leader here. And that would have settled that matter. It didn't. And it didn't play a role, 10 years ago.
When she's not practicing politics, Dr. Joyce Laboso, who was a lecturer at Egerton University, will be found home doing her home chores. A mother of 2 boys, Laboso says she likes cooking for her family when time allows.
I am a mother of 3 boys, 2 of my own and 1 of my late sister, who is now a teenage boy. He's going to 4th form now. And the other 2 boys have finished. My one is in Australia, my firstborn, and the other one has just finished his piloting in South Africa. So he's also just now tamaking. So I really like going to the gym a lot. I like dancing. Even for my gym, I go for the Zumba or Rumba classes and those kind of things. And I like singing. And, me, I'm a positive person in life. I always look at the glass half full.
Having been appointed by the president and his deputy to lead the presidential campaigns in Rift Valley region, Laboso says her focus for now is to popularize Jubilee Party and her ambitions to be the 2nd governor in Bomet County. Chris Dairu, KTN News.
Let's move away from politics now, shall we? And Education Secretary Fred Matiang'i insists he will not interfere over the ongoing lecturers' strike. The CS, who was speaking in Bomet today, said only the Salaries and Remuneration Commission and the various universities' councils are mandated to address the issue. Lecturers have downed their tools demanding better pay.
I am satisfied with what is going on. That's why I'm not interfering. And as I said, there's no basis in law for my interference. I don't want to shoot my mouth around issues that are clearly stipulated in law and how they are supposed to operate. So, yeah, I am bound to operate within the law, and I'm going to do that, and all of us are going to do that. But SRC, look, that is SRC, the councils, and they are engaged.
Let's now switch focus to the current drought that has been ravaging certain parts of the country. For only a few pieces of chapati and beans, a little girl in Kilifi County fell prey to defilers who left her pregnant. Poverty and helplessness has left the family exposed and in confusion. The gruesome story is one among many that has seen parents devise ways to feed their children. KTN's Coast reporter Francis Ontomo visited the county and now reports.
Sangasini area, Kilifi, minutes afternoon, and students are making the dash back home. These little children have to endure the scorching sun rays as they peg their hope on Evans that they will get something small to eat. Among them is a class 5 girl who was duped to sleep with a man after he bought her chapati and beans. Her mother is furious. She's now pregnant.
Amesema uko Bamba juzi kusema mimi nimeomba chapati na maharagwe kwa kibanda. Akatoka huyo mvulana akamwambia mpatie mapenzi chapati 2 na maharagwe ya shilingi 20 akule. Haya kila siku anakula. So huyo mvulana basi amekasirika. Kila siku nakupatia wote mpatia nini?
The ramshackle structure exhibiting the levels of poverty here. Her mother wants justice, but she is still at a loss.
Sisikii vizuri. Sisikii vizuri waone tangu juzi na tembea na jua na mguu kwenda Gansen nikirudi. Nataka ilijue hilo neno. Na yeye jamaa tamfunga. Kesho naenda Kilifi. Naenda kotini kabisa. Mumtafute huyo mumshike, mumlete huko.
Reports indicate that some 250,000 people in Kilifi are facing possible starvation. Humanitarian assistance has been coming here, but not enough to reach all the households. A few kilometers from Sangasini, another family is reeling from similar realities. This woman is accused of offering her daughter for cheap labor to work as a housemaid, and every week she gets some little money in return. But this had to stop the moment the matter reached the local chief.
Hata huyo msichana ameenda kutafuta kibarua kwa sababu ya hiyo njaa. Kwa sababu mtoto anatakikana kitoka shuleni aje kula chakula ndio arejee shule. Sasa ilikuwa ndio hakuna. Ndio kasema hata afadhali mama niende kutafuta kibarua.
Mama aliresist, lakini nikamwambia kwamba ikiwa hutanisaidia kumleta huyo mtoto, itabidi tukamshike hata yule ambaye amemwajiri. Sasa katika hali hiyo ndio huyo mtoto akaletwa, na kwa wakati huu amerudi. Hata ni mpango ya kwamba Jumatatu tuwe tutampeleka shule.
It is a society in turmoil and the situation worsening by the day. It's not just food but also the scarcity of water that is making life unbearable. It is survival for the fittest.
Nacheza mambo ya kikundi VSLA. Sasa kama mambo yamenibidi, huwa nachukua mkopo kule, alafu ndio ninunue chakula.
Even as families struggle to wade through the tough times, many have resigned to fate. The last time this area experienced long rains was last year in April, and the situation continues to worsen. And the question many are asking here is why this has become a recurrent problem, with authorities seemingly deep in slumber. Francis Ontomwa, KTN News, Sangasini, Kilifi County.
Over the past few months, Laikipia County has hit the news headlines over numerous cases of insecurity, mainly due to invasions of ranches and privately owned lands. KTN News spoke to one ranch owner whose property was recently destroyed, and this is the story.
Past few months, an escalation of attacks and invasions on private property has brewed tension and fear. Property has been set ablaze, animals stolen, ranchers shot at. Kifuko Estate in Rumuruti was recently on the receiving end of such an attack. Through the eyes of one of its proprietors, Maria Dodds, the picture of their woes is painted clearly.
These invasions on these farms started a while ago. It has just it's escalated and become a big issue recently. But even last year there were troubles. Our next door neighbor, the Moai family, had troubles, I think as far back as late 2015.
According to Maria, the attacks began way before the drought was even reported.
And in September, it wasn't even dry. This isn't Kiangasi and Nyasi.
Her brother, who was running the estate, died after succumbing to injuries sustained during a plane accident.
We buried my brother here at the farm. We had a stock theft on the very same day. Now, yeah. Now, that tells you something in itself. From then, things escalated. Within 10 days or 12 days, I don't know exactly without looking it up, but within 10, 12 days of my son being here on the farm, he was shot at while patrolling the boundary.
Gunfire has been the order of the day.
You know, lazima uvumilia. This is our land. This was my father, my grandfather. And when the shooting got very bad, we would have her lying on cushions in the sitting room, away from the bullets, trying to keep her safe. But that's not good for an old lady.
Pia sisi imeumia na njaa. Hata maji hakuna. Meenda mashamba ya watu, mepata nyasi lakini maji hakuna.
Laikipia County Commissioner Onesmus Musyoki acknowledges that there is strife here, but is quick to state that the problem is not as big as it might seem.
Laikipia is stable at the moment. It's not like it is being depicted in certain quarters. We admit that we have some problems in a few farms. And we have restored a lot of normalcy in most of those farms. It's only 3 farms that we are dealing with.
Laikipia, traditionally it's a very peaceful county. You know, there's not a lot of maneno, a lot of siasa.
Si naona tungari nasemekana ya serikali. Sijui serikali inafanya kazi gani.
This being an election year, the dynamics too are different, she thinks.
We want to ensure that all those illegal aggressors are removed from that farm. And that is a commitment that we have done. As we speak, there are quite a number of officers in the 3 farms.
Polisi kikuja na pichana kwa mstoni. Hawa kitoka si naingia kwa ng'ombe.
Contrary to claims that Britain had issued out a travel advisory to its citizens, it was clarified that what had been sent out was instead an alert.
I think that the correct position is that the communication that was issued by the British FCO was an alert. Because in the same communication, they also talk about areas that are not affected by the non-essential travel area zones.
For now, they only hope that the issue will be resolved speedily, whether it is just about the fight for pasture or politics coming into play. Carol Nderi, KT News, Rumoroti, Laikipia County.
You're watching Checkpoint. Many thanks for staying with us. When we return, we have our Checkpoint discussion. And tonight, we shelve politics and talk about the drought situation in Kenya. We shall be having Kevin Mogenya, Associate Director of World Vision Humanitarian Emergency Agency, Sid Hart.